Here's what the player had to say when submitting their review. I rarely feed or do terrible. I feel like something is missing. This game where I do well on paper, I would love some tips to see how I could secure the win for the team. Star-Lord gameplay. As always, if you guys would like your games reviewed, check out that highlighted pinned comment down below. Follow the instructions. You're well on your way to getting a review. So we're going to be looking at a grandmaster game. Now this player, just to add a little bit more context, so they wrote a little bit more, but just not in that particular section. They are a grandmaster player, and their highest was grandmaster 2, and they're just kind of struggling. So we're going to do our best to see if we can help them get out of grandmaster 2 and on to their way to celestial. So we are going to be playing Star-Lord here, one of my personal main DPS characters. He's just so flexible. He's so flexible. All right, let's roll. Let's see. I do like how you're trying to do your best to flank and trying to put that pressure on, but you got to understand as a DPS, when you are putting that pressure, you know, you want to do that pressure. If we look at what you're doing on paper, like you said, right? You're kind of flanking and you're kind of putting pressure. But in reality, if we go to the strangest screen, that's not strange. Are you really like doing anything? Right? Not really. He's in the same spot he would have been whether or not you're there, and he has a wall to cover him. If we look at Hela, are you doing anything? No. If we look at Visit, no. Right? No. Like, you're not doing anything to anybody. We need to get in a position where we are actually pressuring and making them back up. Your team is pressuring them and making them back up, but you could have easily went this way, right? Taken an angle up here somewhere, didn't really matter where, just pick one, and just started firing right here. And if they start turning around and chasing you, you just kind of go fall back and you will regroup with your team. A lot of the times people don't really do this, and this is something that's a really good way to break the formation, especially if your team is really trying to force into a choke like this. So I would like to see that. I would like to see you not with your team right here. It doesn't really have a reason to be. There you go. That's what we should have done in the first place. So we're coming down here. Not necessarily something you had to do. Let's actually look at the whole situation and see if we had to do that, or if we could have done something else a little bit differently. So we're not really looking at anything when we come over here. Let's see. So you can't see the blue outlines, obviously, right? So we see Moonlight to the left. We see Hela to the left. I'm gonna assume you saw them. And we see the Invisible Woman. For some reason, we just turn our whole entire back to these characters that could have easily just blown you up right now. Also, the pressure that you just made by being in such a, I don't really know what I don't want to call it an off. It is kind of an off angle, but just being in such an aggressive position, right? The pressure that you created isn't there anymore. You just left it. And upon leaving it, we didn't really accomplish anything that our team couldn't have accomplished by themselves, and we're leaving Strange to basically handle everything by himself. You also got lit up as well, which is what you should have been blown up way earlier than that. I'm shocked it took them that long to do it, because you turned your back up here and you should have been lit up way earlier than that. You possibly just would have KO'd. Like there's so much map for you to play. There's so much map. I would like to see you do it. There's so much map. You have map up here, you have map down here, you have map over there, over here, over here, over here, over here. Look at all that extra juicy space. And we just keep playing with our team here. Only play with your team if you need to. If you need to be huddled up, be huddled up. But you don't necessarily need to be huddled up, not only for situations like that where you get hit by something that's an AoE, doesn't even matter, right? There's Moon Knight, very good AoE character. There is Strange, very good AoE character. There is Hela, kind of is an AoE character if they're very good at playing Hela. Like, you have these characters that can do splash damage to you. Don't be huddled up if you don't have to. And the other reason is because you're just not adding any value to your team huddled up. The tanks are why people back up when you're huddled up, not the DPS, right? If a DPS moves forward with a tank, we're backing up because of the tank, not because of DPS. You could say because the whole team is traveling in a pack, that's true, but you know, give or take, well, you know what I'm trying to say. So we come back, trying to get back to the team fight. Luckily, our team was able to win that fight perfectly fine. What I would like to see so far is just, I want to see more flanks, more sides, more off angles, just more pressure generated from being in a lot of weird places. You know, be creative. Look, go this way, space. Go up there, space. You can go through here. You can go, you can just play the map. Play the map. You got so much time. Look, you got 4 minutes. You chilling right now. Chilling. The only thing that we're doing right now is just basically farming ult. But what's more important, farming ult or getting a pick? You could say popping. Well, if I farm my ult, I get picks. That is true, but you can get picks while farming your ult. Boom. What's up? I don't really think you had to back up that far. I respect being safe, though. Yep, just kind of fall back. You didn't really need to get a health pack. You could have just gone in here. That's very nitpicky, though. I just thought I should mention it, though. You probably thought about it after you got the health pack. All right. They're in a formation that's very hard to break. Realistically, you guys have the advantage because you're looking down, but they have the advantage because you're clumped up. So we're in the same position that we were in before, huddled up with our team. All it takes is for them to use their AoE abilities, and you guys will all take damage. What we want to do is we want to try to like flank or just do something to disrupt their formation. If you just jet out and go here, what's going to happen? People are going to walk back. They're going to look at you, probably chase, or they're going to do any. They're not going to do anything. And in which case, once a fight does break out, you're already in position to come and start doing some damage. Or you could even come this way around, and there's like a little corridor over here. I'll go over there so you can see it. There's like a little corridor right here. And you can use this as a way to play off of that. So yeah, it feels like, oh my God, I'm wasting so much time going through there and going around. It's not really, because if you win this team fight, it's well worth. And then look, you just play here. And they're either gonna try to chase you and look for the 1v1, in which case you better know how to win your 1v1s, or they're gonna send more than one. If they send more than one, have your escape plan. Go up here, right? Play this angle. Walk up, see if you can shoot. If they keep chasing you, you have a health pack there. Or if you really need to retreat and go back to your team, go this way. But whenever you flank, just kind of have a way to get out. Now you could be on comms, so I'll give you that much in terms of like, maybe that's why you're sticking together. I'm not sure. But even if you are on comms, you just get a lot more accomplished if you start flanking a little bit more and breaking the position. Because essentially kind of how we're playing right now is we're just playing off of our team. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but like I said, or like I always say, is if your team is not doing well and you constantly play off your team, you're not going to be able to carry them because you're basically playing at the same rank that they are if you're always playing off of your team. Again, so much you could be like doing. You can go through there. You can shoot up from here. All right, put down some fire from here. You could even fly over here over their heads, end up right here, forcing them to either deal with you or turn around or like pressure. Put some pressure down. Blind some fire. I consider Star-Lord kind of like one of those characters like Iron Fist, Black Panther, Spider-Man, where you can play them and climb without necessarily learning the fundamentals of the game. And you want to be very careful of that because you don't want to get to a rank where you're having a very hard time because you're not understanding the fundamentals. When it comes to Star-Lords, a lot of them typically climb because his ult is pretty nuts, right? You ult at the right time, you win a fight every single time. And that is generally why Star-Lords climb a lot quicker. You see my point. And so, yeah, that works, but you still have to understand, like, what do I do then if my team does this? What do I do if my team does that? And then in order to answer that question, in order to play to that question, you should understand the fundamentals of the game and not, I'm kind of winning because I get a crazy ult. Or if you're Iron Fist, I'm winning because my character is hard to deal with, or Black Panther, you know. There's a lot of characters, even in tank and support, there's characters that just kind of let people climb because they're so strong. And you just want to make sure that, should that be the case, it's okay because I know my fundamentals. I know what I need to do if I come up against something difficult, and you know. Yep, just back off. You have to go. You are very safe. Yo, I respect that. You do not care. You're really safe. Okay. That was one flank out of this entire round. I would like to see more. And not just because you have ult. But just get that flank in. Get that pressure in. Again, go up here. There you go. Boom. Play that angle. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Get some damage off. And then, if they move back, ba, 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 ba. And then what happens, if they are low, roll in there. I forgot what he says when he does it. I think he's like, takes my elements or something like that. I forgot. But whatever. Do the little spin move. And then get him. Again, pressure, pressure, pressure. I'm only hammering this in. If you guys don't know, I generally, when it's a higher rank game that I'm reviewing, I'm a little bit more critical because you're in a rank that is very high, right? Like you're expected to play really well. And so I want to make sure that if you are trying to break any molds to Celestial, Eternity, whatever your goal is, and you're already a high ranked player, we need to beat these things into your head so that way you're doing them. We need to pressure. Look at this guy. This guy's pressuring. I mean, not really in the best spot, but if they know he's there, they are afraid to move forward. If you're here, if you're in this position where you're shooting down on them, if you're in this position, I probably wouldn't go here, but this is just an example. If you're in a position right here, they're forced to focus on you, right? Be more mindful about these little areas that you can play in, and don't always try to be with your team. Because not gonna lie, your team is actually winning this game. I'm not saying you're not doing anything, because that's incorrect. You are playing the game and you're contributing. But I'm just saying, like, your team is doing really well. But I think if they were bad players, you would have a really hard time winning this game. Maybe that's what happens on defense. Some people just can't play defense properly. Hey, it happens. So I guess we'll see. Yeah, every single time you do that, it's like you're grouping with your team, and even if they aren't aiming at you, they are hitting you because you're in that vicinity of being shot, right? Like if the shots are flying here from everybody and you're here with your team, the shots are also going to hit you. The only way it doesn't hit you is if you're not there with a team. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of your biggest like weaknesses right now is the grouping aspect. You're not really a threat. You're just like a support DPS. If you want to start carrying and get to higher ranks, you really want to be a threat DPS, not a support DPS. There's a big difference between the two. Very, very big difference between the two. But there's also a big difference between being a member and a viewer of the channel. So, I mean, if you want to be a member, help support the channel and the content that I create, please consider clicking that join button, as well as scrolling to the description box. If you don't see the join button, there's a link down there that will take you to the same page. Also, members do get priority on reviews. So if you're a member and you're like, Papa, I really want my game reviewed, you will be first in line because you're a member and you're helping support the content that I create, as well as some other goodies. So, you know, check that out, see if that's something for you. But let's hop back in and let's get into the second round here. You're already looking to do an off angle thing, which we could have done in the other round. Why didn't we do that in the other round? So unfortunately, they're coming from the side. Not from the side, but like, you know, they're using the portal to flank. I, again, would like you to not group with your team and do the job here. Not only, look, destroy the beacon, pop some fire down, get a little bit closer if they start running, and then play off of this angle right here. Boom, 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 right? You're Star-Lord. You have a lot of ways to escape. There's never really a problem with you flanking. You can do whatever you want. But being in the front like this all the time is really, really rough because they don't have to look anywhere else. They don't have to divert their attention to deal with you. You are with everybody else. Again, the way that you're playing is a support DPS. You're playing the DPS in a way where it's like, if my team does well, I do well. If my team does poor, I lose. No, 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 no. That's not how we play. And this is why you feel like you never really do poor or you don't feed. It's because you don't do anything to take risks. You don't do anything to feed. You just kind of shoot and hang with the team and hope it works. Again, because you're playing Star-Lord, you probably win a lot more games than you should. Not saying you should like not be the rank you are or anything like that, but I'm just saying like the character allows for more wins than normal because he has a wipe ultimate. But if we put you on something that doesn't have a wipe ultimate, you might be suffering a little bit more because you're not doing anything but just kind of playing around the fact that if my team does well, I do well. If my team sucks, I lose game. And you don't want to be like that. You really do not want to be like that. Take your risks. Really think about take your risk, really think about how can I be more impactful, how can I pressure more, and that's going to be the way that you go about winning your games, especially if your team's not doing well. That is, not only did you get stunned, but you got stunned out your ultimate, bro. I've been there, I've done that, nothing to even say. I'm not even gonna say nothing. That sucks. Oh, I felt that one in my soul. Oh no, we swapped to Penny. I hate when people switch to Penny because usually they don't play that character. And it's like, bro, you don't play her and you're like not doing anything. Like, get off Penny. Okay. Again, just kind of, there you go. That's what I was waiting for. Oh, you only did it because you had ult. Well, I would like to see better ults too. I would like to see more like flank ults or more ults during team fights or more ults like in unexpected moments. Again, you're using your ult kind of just like, you know it's busted. So you use it in a busted way where it's like, I'm gonna just whip it out and start shooting. Eventually that's not gonna work. Like if you do break Celestial and your goal is Eternity, don't do that. I mean, it didn't work there, as you see. It already starting to not work, but like it really won't work at that rate. So be very careful. Be a little bit more sneaky with how you ult. Again, go to a side angle, go to a flank. You can go through there or just break the wall and then you can start shooting from this angle here. Yeah, they might still walk past you and ignore you, but the fact that you're there, if they continue to push like this, you can just flank up. As your team starts to engage, wipe them, bam. And then after that, after you like go in and do your little spin and fly, then you just pop up here as a way to escape, boom. We here with ours. Pop, 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 pop. Trying to tell you, that's gaming right there, it's gaming. Yeah, you see, you only get kills, or not kills, you only get KOs because your team does it for you. That is sketch. The reason why I'm saying this is because it's very frustrating to lose games when you feel like you should win because you feel like you're doing well, but also it's confirmation bias. You feel you're doing well, you see stats, you see DPS numbers, you're like, bro, I'm popping off, but not really. Looking at every single fight that we had, you were not a reason you won them unless you ulted. You should be the reason why you win every fight. You're a DPS, especially if you're trying to carry teams. You should be much more of a problem child when it comes to playing DPS. See, you do the same thing over and over. If it doesn't work, then you're screwed. Every single time. Like, you have such an ABC play style. I hang with my team. I try to look for a spot to ult. I ult. If it works, we win the fight. If it doesn't work, we lose the fight. Rinse and repeat. Hang with my team. Look to ult. Grab my ult. Once again. That has to like stop because the playstyle is too predictable. It's very easy to be like, Star-Lord's gonna do that thing that Star-Lord always does, right? You don't want to be predictable. Again, you also want to show more aggression. You want to have more off angles. You want people to really have to deal with you. You don't want them to just be like, we'll deal with them when he ults. No. You will deal with me every single time I show my face because I'm gonna probably get a pick. What's up? Really make some stuff happen. Those are the two things that I think would skyrocket your gameplay. Be less predictable and be more a carry DPS, not a support DPS that just hangs with their team and, you know, wins the fight because my tanks initiate or something like that happens. Okay. So I hope this helped. If you got any questions, of course, let me know down in the comments below. And again, if you guys would like to help support the channel and the content that I create, especially like these free reviews and stuff like that that I do for everyone else, please consider becoming a member. It really does help the channel. Click that join button down below or scroll to the description box and click that link, and it's going to take you to the same exact place. If you guys would like your match reviewed, as always, head to that description box, or not the description box, but the pinned comment down below. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you learned a lot. And until next time, you know what I always say. Thank you guys for doing what? Popping often. Well, often.